I, 41 female, have a daughter, Sam, a young teen, with my ex-husband, Brian, 44. We divorced when she was 4. Brian made a real effort to be a good father for the first couple of years after our divorce. But then, pretty much overnight, he seemed to lose interest in her. He stopped coming to parent-teacher nights, never came to any of her sports games, and stopped asking about them. Refused to pay child support, which I eventually stopped asking for, as I have a well-paying job. Would forget to pick Sam up on days he said he would. Stopped asking to see her on holidays. On the rare occasions he remembered to pick her up, he would try and smooth everything over by buying her expensive gifts. And it worked for a really long time, but it started to wear off now, and Sam is starting to see through it. Sam has maintained a very close relationship with her paternal grandparents. Sam is a very accomplished field hockey player and represented our country internationally recently, and she will likely be on the World Championship team later this year. We returned 2 days ago, and yesterday, her grandparents wanted to take her and the rest of the family to lunch to celebrate. Brian showed up 45 minutes late and didn't apologize. His parents were surprised and told him to behave. As Sam recounted her time and summaries of the matches to her grandparents, Brian interjected and belittled her performance because she only scored 1 goal. Sam burst into tears and ran to the bathroom. I comforted her, and she asked if we could go home. I agreed and told her to wait in the car while I got her stuff. When I returned to the table, Brian was defending himself against his parents, and I snapped. I told him he was a deadbeat and recounted everything mentioned above, and that I wouldn't be surprised if Sam cut him loose one day. Our daughter is wonderful and doesn't deserve to be treated like this. His parents seemed shocked, as he'd given them the impression that he was a good father. He threw a tantrum and stormed out. I apologized and left money for half the check with his parents. Since then, Brian has sent me several messages, and his parents texted to say they don't appreciate the scene I caused in the restaurant. I don't think I did anything wrong, but my parents agreed with them, so maybe I did. Am I the idiot? I don't appreciate the kind of man you raised, but here we are, stuck living the truth. You are not the idiot. Tell them you don't appreciate him belittling your child over a match he didn't even see, nor do you appreciate the fact that he never sees any and is never there. Before they want to continue coming at you for making a scene, they should stop and reflect on why the scene was necessary. You shouldn't have made a scene in the restaurant because he shouldn't have created the situation. Brian is the big-time idiot here. Take him to court for child support, and then let Sam use that money however she wants to seek out the fullest life possible, e.g. help with her dream college, to spend on great travel experiences, etc. She deserves to benefit somehow from her farce of a father, and so do you for showing up and being a good and loving parent to her. I plan on not claiming since I'm lucky enough to have a well-paying job to support us. I plan to tell her before she turns 18 that between 18 and 25, she will then be able to claim all backdated child support, which will be about 12 years, I think, and it'll be paid to her directly for her to use as she wishes. If he dies before she turns 18, assuming that he doesn't have a will, then she'll inherit any assets he has. If he does have a will and it explicitly excludes her, then any outstanding child support he hasn't paid and the total sum of future payments will be deducted from his estate and be given to me as the custodial parent, which I will, of course, put into a trust. And you're going to make your daughter do all of that? I don't think it's fair to let your 18-year-old kid go through the legal proceedings of getting backdated child support because you can't be bothered. You could easily fight to get the backdated child support and get your ex to give the child support every month, but put all that money into an account in your name until your kid turns 18 and give her access to it. Stop making excuses. This is something you should be doing for her. I, a teen female, am the oldest of my siblings and step-siblings. They're all aged tween and under. Sometimes I have to babysit, and I don't really mind because there are only 6 of them. and I get paid well. Today was one of those days. My mom and stepdad went out on a date night, and I had to babysit from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. That meant cooking supper for them. My mom had told me to make spaghetti and garlic bread because it's fast, and they all like it, so I did. But when I served it to the kids, Tia, pre-tween female, decided she didn't like it. She's always a picky eater, but spaghetti was one of her favorites, so I assumed she was just in one of her moods to be difficult. I told her to try 7 bites. It usually works, but she didn't. She screamed that she wanted pizza, but I told her no. Tia kept whining, so I offered to make her a sandwich instead, but she insisted on pizza. The other kids were eating it fine, and when I tasted it later, it tasted like usual. So it's not my cooking skills she didn't like, because she's had my spaghetti before. She kept being moody and refusing to eat the spaghetti. She didn't answer me when I asked her why, and she sat there crying after everyone finished. I made her a sandwich I knew she liked so she wouldn't starve, but she pushed it away and kept demanding pizza. Finally, I told her I wouldn't make an entire pizza from scratch, and she had to eat either spaghetti or a sandwich. She just kept whining. She was still moody when my parents got home. We have no school tomorrow, so we're allowed to stay up as long as we like, and told them why. My stepdad said I should have just humored her and gotten her to eat faster. She would have eaten a mini pizza on bread if it came to that, but I should have made her what she liked so she would stop whining, because now they have to deal with it too. I told him I didn't know she wanted a mini pizza, but he told me I saw her eating them all the time and should have known. My mom took his side and said I should be more mindful and that all this chaos could have been avoided. So am I the idiot for not making her what she wanted and making her sulk for hours? Not the idiot, because your little sister had a tantrum. You made the meal your mother told you to, and you even offered her a sandwich. She's old enough to understand no. Your parents don't get to blame you and complain that now they have to deal with it too. They're the parents, and they should be dealing with it, but not by blaming you. By the way, 6 kids to babysit is a lot, and I hope you're getting paid accordingly. Look up typical hourly pay for this where you live. 6 kids at once is a number that professionals would be worried by, and they are appropriately paid for their work. OP is a teen, only 5 years older than the oldest she was looking after, and most definitely not trained. She did well under the circumstances. Also, cooking for that many people is a task. Your mom and stepdad should have backed you and told your sister off for being so difficult. They're just reinforcing the idea that she can, on a whim, decide she doesn't want to eat something and make a fuss until she gets her way. Sorry, but that's pretty poor parenting. Wonder if stepdad always gives in and mom just goes along with him to keep the peace. For real, if I'm cooking for 6 people, they do not get substitutions, and I can barely provide napkins. Pre-tween is old enough to describe the type of pizza she wanted, or even say, I want a mini pizza. She didn't do either and just threw a fit. There is no chance in the world that OP is getting paid accordingly. I can bet that she's paid something like $20 for the night and a you should be grateful lecture. My girlfriend, 30, and I, 35 male, have been dating for a bit over a year now, and things are going great overall. Our personalities are complementary. We think the same way about many things, but not everything, because that would be boring. We love each other and are committed to each other, and we recently started talking about making a life together. We don't live together, but have plans on it. Recently, I came into some money and decided it would be smart to buy a house. We live in a city with a real estate market that's extremely competitive and never really slows down that much. I saw a really nice house on the market for $425K. I put in an offer for $515K, waived appraisal, waived inspection, and came in 5th out of 11 bids. I put in other offers on other houses, which I thought were strong but reasonable, and lost them all. My realtor sent me a link to this one that had gone on the market, been sold in 2 days, and then financing from the buyer fell through, so it was back on. It was the week before the holidays, and a lot of realtors and buyers were taking that week off. A lot of properties were listed, but not showing until the following week. Just a generally slow time. The stars aligned, and I put in an offer at the asking price without many concessions and won. The place is on the low side of my budget, meaning there's plenty of money left over to decorate and design it and make it really nice. But I didn't involve my girlfriend in a lot of the buying process. It's awkward to navigate. We're not married and it's my money, but I would like to live there with her. And there's no real playbook on navigating this very millennial situation. She came with me to look at some houses, which I didn't end up making offers on. When I let her know that I was going to look at this one, she said, "I'm curious about it," but didn't really indicate she wanted to see it. When I told her that I'd won the offer, she started crying because she wasn't happy about the house. The listing pictures weren't the best. It's very close to the city, but it's over a bridge with a 35-cent toll. I was hoping for a hug around the neck and someone to share my happiness. Since then, things have been kind of rocky. I've got this huge exciting thing happening, and I feel like I can barely talk about it with her. She can't get over that I made this decision on my own. Yes, I could have been more thoughtful and involved her more in the process. Instead, I solely chose the place we may both live in for the next 2 to 5 years. The result of my actions is that we have a secure shelter with the expenses taken care of, as well as a good budget to design and decorate it and fill it with the things we love most. Am I the idiot? Wait. She's having a sulk because her boyfriend is financially secure enough to buy a house that she doesn't have to financially contribute anything to, and he wants to move her in. Not the idiot. Geez, what is it with girlfriends recently? Let's look at the facts. Y'all don't live together. Y'all've been together for just a year. She's not contributing to the down payment. You don't share finances and are assuming 100% of the risk here. You're very early in your relationship. Taking her opinion into consideration is nice, but why would you buy a house she also wants? God forbid you break up, and now it's a reminder of things past. It's your money and thus your home. It should be your preference. You're not an idiot for looking out for your interest. You're smart. Been there in the girlfriend position. And my response was, it's your money. My boyfriend bought a home 2 months after we started dating. I walked 5 houses with him. There was one I liked better, but I told him it was his choice. I didn't want to be involved in such a big decision when we were so new. It's been 2 years now, and I just moved in. He's always told people he appreciated how respectful of his privacy and space I was during this process. Your girlfriend needs to adjust her priorities here. You are the idiot. This is probably not about the house. Buying a house without involving her may be causing her to feel that you're not dating, not in a relationship going anywhere long term. She may feel like an accessory and not a partner. You need to think about what you both want and where the relationship is going to get through this. My sister-in-law, Tara, 19, had a rocky first year of college at a prestigious school 6 hours from our hometown. It was her first time for many things, like drinking, seriously dating, and managing her own time. She audited a course when it became apparent that she'd fail otherwise and wanted to retake it over the summer. When my in-laws found out about her grades and that a $5,000 scholarship probably won't be renewed for the next year, they told her she needed to live at home during the summers and get a job, along with getting a job at college. They also suggested that she consider living at home, holding down a job, and getting a degree from the local college instead. Tara called me and asked what she should do, so I asked her what she wanted. After we talked and she explained why she felt like she struggled her first year, I told her I'd pay for her to go to summer school at her university and lease a 1-bedroom apartment for a year to be away from the people partying in the dorms. Then we'd reassess at the end of her sophomore year. My in-laws are upset and confronted me at dinner the other night about stepping on their toes and undermining them as parents. They think Tara needs to be taught a lesson and learn some responsibility, which my bankrolling her won't give her. I countered that Tara's an adult and her career prospects would be objectively better, if she graduated from a prestigious university rather than a local college. I also said that I genuinely don't think there's any lesson to be learned from forcing someone to struggle with both a job and school when they're already struggling with school and want to do better, and refused to apologize. Instead, my husband stayed out of it at dinner. He told his parents we hadn't had a chance to discuss it, but privately said he agreed with his parents and that I was overstepping in a major way. Edit. They're not paying for anything continuously, but they do things like furnish or decorate her dorm room and buy her a bunch of food when she started. They're not paying for her tuition, housing, or the bulk of things. She took out student loans for what the scholarships didn't cover. They paid to decorate her dorm and left her a pantry. Did I miss something? That's it? That's $1,000 one time. They set up her dorm and gave her food at the beginning of the year, and they're running their mouths about you stepping on their parenting of an adult? They don't get a say if they're not paying her bills anymore. I'm very sorry, I just don't understand this. I get that they want the best and want her to be more responsible, but they've had 18 years for that. OP, you are not the idiot. Tara is an adult. You're an adult. It's between the pair of you. Parents need to stop treating her like a child. Probably part of her problem was they overmanaged her, and so she had issues doing it herself. Are they paying for her schooling? I mean, I would be upset if she lost a scholarship too. Do they have to make up for it? I was thinking the same. Probably overly sheltered and strict parenting is why sister-in-law was a bit untethered during her first year. OP giving her that second chance is super wholesome. This isn't 1950. If a young adult doesn't receive help from people, they will undoubtedly fail in life. Teaching independence by offering no financial help and saying, get a job, might have worked 50 years ago. Still now, they might as well be giving her a tent and saying, see ya. Tara needs to handle her problems, which she did, by speaking to you. They're just mad that they can't yank her back. My son Jack is a tween, and it was time that he started to use deodorant and pick out his own body wash too. Plus, his underwear was getting tight and needed new pairs. We went to Target, and he saw his best friend Luke shopping with his dad too. They asked if they could go loiter at the toy and game section while we shopped. I really didn't need anything aside from what my son needed, so I said I'd give him 25 minutes, and then I'll come and get him. After 35 minutes, because I'm a nice dad, I went to grab him, and he asked if he could stay until Luke's dad picked him up. I said no because I still need to get your stuff. He said I could just get it for him, and he didn't care. I said he's old enough to pick out his own underwear, deodorant, and body wash, and I want him to pick it out. Luke laughed and my son said bye. My son was angry with me, and I asked him why. He said I didn't need to talk about personal stuff in front of Luke. I said, please, you and Luke are like brothers. You literally showered with him last week. I don't think what I said was shocking. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. That being said, if your kid tells you that you embarrassed him and you respond by, say, looking for more opportunities to embarrass him, that would be an idiot move. Kids are weird and sensitive about stupid things, but I've seen too many parents have fun at their kids' expense. Anyway, you gave him 25 minutes, and he took 35. And I figure if he didn't want his friend to know, he could have kept to the schedule. Disagree. You are the idiot. You're not a monster, but you do owe your son an apology. You don't get to decide what's upsetting to your son or what he can or should be embarrassed by. The correct response when he told you why he was upset was, I'm sorry, I wasn't thinking. I'll do better to respect your privacy in the future. Have you tried getting a tween to use that kind of logic? Because it's day 139 of the school year, and I'm still coaching my 25 plus tweens on how to do this kind of thinking. This sort of abstract thinking is hard to do at any age, especially when one of the choices is hanging out with his best friend. And LOL, we need to buy deodorant isn't exactly privacy.